If you're hearing this, you're probably the one in your lineage that felt a little different. You know, you sensed more, you felt more, and quite frankly, you carried more than anyone has ever understood, right? You've carried on to pain that you couldn't quite name, that you couldn't quite articulate, and you've moved through the world with this quiet pressure on your chest, and you've carried a heaviness that felt like it never really belonged to you. Let me light some sage right now, because we have a heavy topic today. But somewhere inside, right, there's been this knowing, and it's been a soft whisper, that you came from somewhere lighter, softer, and more fluid than this realm, okay? And you're not disconnected from this place. You're never disconnected from this place. You're remembering it while inside of density, while inside of this illusion and this construct. Let's just do a little sage cleanse. We're gonna get the Palo Santos going. But yeah, today's message is that there's a part of you that still remembers what it was like to be infinite, to be a wave and not a body. There's a part of you that still remembers who you were before density shaped you into something smaller, something finite and localized to this dimension. And you're not imagining that, you know, your soul has been trying to tell you why you feel this way. And the thing is, once you understand what happens to your consciousness when you enter into this realm or this, you know, dimension, essentially, everything begins to make more sense. So that's the aim of today. We want for the mind to catch up with what your body already knows, what your soul already knows around your story. So this is your story. Let's get going. It's a very deep subject, but you know, I know that this is gonna meet you where you are, and you're a very deep soul. If you found yourself here, or if you've more accurately called this message into your experience. Let's start from the beginning, when you were a wave. Before you arrived here, your consciousness was not a body. It was a field. You were fluid, buoyant, and formless. You existed the way waves exist, everywhere and nowhere, holding countless possibilities at once. You were like 𝓼𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓽, the primordial intelligence rising from the waters of pre-creation, self-born and self-arising awareness, forming itself out of nothing. You were like atom, a stardust intelligence of 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons, light enough to drift through galaxies without identity, without contraction or gravity. And yet, you agreed to become Adam, to condense cosmic fluidity into human form, to step into density, limitation, and matter. From dust you came, and to dust you shall return. This contraction from infinite to finite, from wave to particle, from buoyant to dense, was the first trauma. Not emotional trauma, but the shock of incarnation. The moment the soul descends into the densest medium it will ever inhabit. This is where decoherence begins. Decoherence and your collapse into density. When you entered this world, your infinite wave collided with a dense human field of family expectations, ancestral memory, cultural conditioning, this emotional gravity of survival patterns and developmental shocks. Just like any quantum system entering noise, your field began to lose synchrony. Your possibilities narrowed, your fluidity collapsed into form, your original coherence fractured into the identity the world carved around you. You forgot the fluidity of 𝓼𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓽. You forgot the buoyancy of atom. You forgot the expansiveness of your own field as you became local and defined, observed into a smaller version of yourself. Not because you failed, but because this is what incarnation does. In biology, this collapse is called cancer. A cell loses its electrical communication, forgetting its role in a larger collective. In psychology, this is fragmentation. It's the self losing coherence. For the soul, amnesia, forgetting its origin or its purpose. Decoherence is the fall into density. It's the collapse into separation. And the illusion, that you are only human. But incarnation was never meant to break you. It was meant to shape you. Every rupture, every heartbreak, every shock of loss or separation is the compression that initiates metamorphosis. The soul must be squeezed so that it can remember how to rise. Human life becomes the chrysalis, dark, confining, transformative, not to trap you, but to teach you how to turn density into buoyancy. Growing up is not about becoming more physical. It's about remembering you were never just physical at all. Integration is the soul remembering its role within a larger collective field. You incarnated not to drown in matter, but to bring light into it. Now, the beauty is anything that can fall out of coherence can return to it. That's your birthright. Coherence is your natural state. The moment your field stops shrinking and begins expanding again, when your intuition becomes louder than your conditioning, and when your original rhythm returns. This is buoyancy returning. To become coherent is to become less dense than the medium you're immersed in. Just like an object that floats, not because it resists the water, but because it remembers how to relax within it. In biology, this is the moment the rogue cell is electrically reconnected to the collective and remembers its role again. In quantum physics, this is the moment the particle dissolves back into the wave. In human consciousness, this is awakening. You stop being pulled by the environment and you begin shaping it. You stop fracturing and start harmonizing. You stop collapsing and you start expanding again. Your atoms remember they were once atom. Your dust remembers it's stardust, and your human remembers it's divine. Decoherence is forgetting. Coherence is remembering. Decoherence is density, fragmentation, and isolation. Coherence is buoyancy, reintegration, and belonging. You're not here to drown in this plane. You're here to become light enough to rise through it. You're not here to survive trauma. You're here to recognize that trauma was the doorway into your metamorphosis. You're not here to escape the physical nor dissolve into the ethereal, but you're here to hold both without losing yourself to either. From atom to atom to Adam to awareness. This is your return, your cycle of Eve or evolution. The return to the wave you were before the world absorbed you into something smaller. That is the story. Okay, so we're going to do a reading for you now that you are in this place of coherence. I'm going to open up with a Cosmos Oracle message. I just want to do a quick overlay for you because it's an important topic. You know, again, it's so profound. Again, we have the spiral or a vicious or virtuous cycle is what this message is. And it essentially talks about you can see something with optical doubles. It talks about something that looks like it's close together, but in actuality, it's very far apart. I'm seeing that as you and also your past, because something that has happened in your past within this incarnation almost feels like a lifetime ago. And the reason being is you're literally in a completely different playing field of reality because of this awakening that you've returned back to. And awakening is not changing who you are, it's just discarding all the things whom you're not. So these are belief systems and opinions that have constructed or obstructed and distorted the way that you see yourself as an extension of source playing within its own creation. Okay, I'm seeing that for you. Now, with virtuous cycle, okay, I want to read the virtuous cycle energy of this because this talks about, again, like suffering is a created cycle that we can keep ourselves in, but this dimensional plane can either be a heaven on earth or a hell. Let me read this for you real quick. The spiral. So, moving to the virtuous cycle is moments of inspiration, happiness, and gratitude that increase our desire to give love, the most powerful source of energy available, forming a virtuous cycle. This generates multiplying effects to our energy, which is loaded with consequent positive acts, generating waves of good energy. We have the chance to live on both sides of the dual vortex, like a yin and yang. Our unique ability as energy alchemists is to pass between one side and another. That's literally what it is, right? You're a walking alchemist. You've passed through life on earth in one side and also another. This decision is to choose where you're positioning yourself inside of the vortex, and that lies fully in your hands. So when you're in basically base levels of consciousness, basically a deity who is lost in sleeping in matter and forgotten itself, right? It's a fractal of awareness, a fractal of infinite potential, but that infinite potential lays dormant within the fractal of awareness until consciousness begins to slowly wake up in this construct. And once it does, that's a fractal of conscious awareness. That's what Christ consciousness is. It understands that it's also a part of the whole. All children of light are sourced from the same wisdom, learning to return to that wisdom once again. So we all have a part to play in the cosmos. We all have a part to play in the cycles, and there's a secret order to what appears to be disorderly in our space-time travels, and there is a cosmos in what appears to be chaotic until we look back in hindsight and admire its perfect design, where everything was necessary to basically get you to this point. Are you understanding what I'm saying, right? I'm like finding all these different like ways to say it, but essentially everything was necessary to get you to this point of remembrance. That's what this is. When you awaken, you remember. That's what it is. So again, you don't change your core essence or this fluid, buoyant essence, but you remove any density that has kept you earthbound or shaped your perception to the point where you have seen yourself as a human being potentially just having human experiences instead of a spiritual being literally having a human experience. So something has shifted dramatically here, right, when we talk about the spiral. Now, whew, okay, now, interesting, the portal card for this is 111, and 111 is a destiny card. It talks about see it, feel it, listen. Ooh, think it, feel it, watch it flow. Every thought I deposit, watch it grow. Ooh, there's something around that, right? It's like think it, feel it. I just see that for you. There's something around that. Every thought you're depositing into the system, you're watching it grow, right? Every seed you deposit, it's like every thought is a seed in this fertile soil, which is life on Earth as a conscious womb or laboratory. It's designed for rapid soul expansion. And I'm just seeing something happen for you. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this. All right, Spiral, I want to get messages specifically for you. I want this to feel like a, okay, yeah. It's one of those moments where it really should just reaffirm what it is that you know at this stage of your journey. Okay, and now that you've come back into this remembrance, how would your life on Earth shift and change? Because that intercommunication with the memory that was unlocked, that was stored within your DNA, right? That intercommunication with plasma shifts the way that you feel about your journey on Earth and relate to your journey on Earth, especially emotionally. It's intercommunication with Source, you embodying Source. I'm hearing becoming a living, breathing example of it. Guilt. I release any belief that no longer assists in my soul's growth. So you could be having to get really honest with yourself around whom and what is going to be coming with you in this next stage of your journey. And when I say that, it's not that you're ever leaving anything really behind, because everything is in its perfect design. There's always cosmic order and harmonic order being restored and sustained within the contrast that we experience in this realm, okay? In order for the third density to exist in this third dimension, right, this physical plane, there must be some kind of level of contrast sustained. So as others come into their remembrance and awakening, there are others who fall asleep and unconscious. So you must see it from a perspective where the storm becomes a speck when you zoom out enough. And then we have honesty at the base, which is I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect the truth from myself. So I'm seeing that with you, okay? Let's go ahead and read guilt, because this could be a huge thing that you're moving through right now, because when you are no longer mirroring back the wounds of others, you are now going to be mirroring a different example. And there's something around don't feel guilty for choosing yourself or choosing things that may look different, okay? Because once consciousness, okay, becomes aware of itself, it begins to behave very, very differently in this construct because you're falling back into coherence. What does that mean? Again, the soul falls into this human amnesia. Humanity has found themselves in this amnesia because when your cosmic origins incarnate into this very dense plane, right, the lowest level of density in which you'll ever experience, it's very easy. It's like falling asleep under a weighted blanket, conk, you're out. And then when consciousness begins to wake up, right, it begins to remember its point of origin. It begins to remember its purpose and come back into alignment with its origin point. So I'm seeing that for you. You've come into coherence. So you're coming back into alignment with your mission. Your two biggest days is when you were seeded onto this planet and you fell asleep. And your second one is when you remember why, right? Your remembering is the awakening. So that's what I'm seeing. Guilt. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. Okay, I'm hearing how you've operated, moving through timelines of survival is no longer any of your concern, because this is about what you're doing from here on out. Okay, write yourself a new story, because you might just like this one better. Okay, especially the story of whom you are and your character that you're playing. So okay, the energy of fear has many guises to complicate your path to loving yourself. Guilt is the most devious because it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's self-imposed emotion that pretends to be instructive and enlightening. Guilt can help us grow when we realize that our actions have been hurtful to others and that we need to make amends. After we do so, it's time to learn from the behavior and move on. The problem arises when we hold on to a guilty feeling that serves no purpose other than promoting a self-destructiveness and low self-esteem. No one is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what. Okay, so, you know, there could be a Hannah Montana moment that you're having. The fact that I couldn't even control that. Let the intrusive thought win. So yeah, there could be something around that, right? Hannah Montana, if we think about it, like she's got the best of both worlds, but she was also living a double life. And I'm seeing that some of you who have been in the closet, it's like you're letting it out, or you're letting it be known, or letting, again, this octave of you rise up and be shown. Okay, so the problem arises when we hold on to a guilty feeling. No one is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. Guilt is not always rational. But if you examine it subjectively and act upon it, release it, it becomes a temporary emotion. Long-held guilty feelings are never good and will create a roadblock to self-love and happiness. You must continually scan your current emotions for any guilty feelings and bring them to the surface for analysis. Ooh, healthy guilt is a warning that action should be taken. Irrational guilt needs to be released. Whew, okay, so again, I'm hearing there's no more time to action the inaction, okay? Because then you're leaving things up to chance and to forces beyond your control. And you're putting power in things that lie outside of you instead of remembering yourself as a powerful being, right? It's a moment where, oh, power is never in your hands and it's out of your hands, and it always seems to be out of your control. And you're the victim of your circumstances and a bystander of your own life and a passive observer. Compared to Neptune and Aries now, which is, okay, I'm actually a sovereign creator. I'm taking accountability for if I found myself in a timeline that I don't want to be in anymore. I have the conscious application of my free will to change that. And I'm seeing that something's shifting for you. Okay, something's shifting hugely in your field. Okay, especially if you found yourself here, or this has found you where you are. Okay, let's get another message. I want to get a Magic of the Gathering for you, and then we'll definitely get a Gateway of the Light activation, just because I feel like it's that kind of message. Let's see what this is. What do you need to embody more of? Oh, something specific. We have quite a few. Okay, we have Sacred Gardens. So again, your mind is a garden. Think it, feel it, watch it grow. Every thought I deposit, watch it grow. Distraction. Okay, so then we also have like 3 others. I'm gonna get 1. We also have Present Awareness, Toxic Thoughts, and Reincarnation. I believe this is a side message. I want to try and get 1. Because I can get into that, but that's going to be too intricate. Hero's Journey. Okay, so the hero's journey has begun when you're no longer organizing your life around what it is that you fear, but instead why it is that you're here. Okay, that's your hero's journey, essentially, that has begun. And some of you have already been on hero's journey. It seems like there's another chapter, okay, or there's another sequel of the book that's coming out. That's what this is, and this is the story of your life. Let me read it for you and do it some justice. Hero's journey. Now I've got Hannah Montana stuck in my head. So knowing yourself is a hero's journey. Your intention is the ship, truth is your sword, and awareness is your torch. Your armor will be stripped as you slay the dragon. Then you will return with the greatest treasure and the wisdom of sages. There's no escaping the hero's journey, and refusing the call is futile. Let go of resistance, face your fears, and find your truth. Oof, okay. And it also talks about 𝓲𝓙𝓪𝓷𝓪 is a planeswalker from Theros, a brave and loyal warrior who cherishes his friends. So I'm seeing there's some kind of, there's an unknown. I was just holding desire, which was the base factor, but it revealed on the unknown. And there could be something that the soul desires in the unknown, okay? Because desire is in its highest octave, it becomes a compass for us, okay? And I'm seeing there's something that your soul is desiring to experience. And you know, a compass is something that is, it's something that you can also not, you evaluate shift, and I'm seeing that you're evaluating certain shifts that have happened within you, okay? Like, this is huge as well. Let's get a gateway of the light activation message, okay? Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, the central sun, so solar plexus energy. This is essentially about serve too many masters and you'll soon suffer. Okay, this is about essentially putting yourself on the back burner, and that leads to actually not resentment of others, but it actually leads to this profound resentment of the self. And there's something about you cultivating this profound sense of self-trust. This talks about you removing any kind of belief systems that have been distorting the way that you see yourself. And this leads to the revealing of a sacred, more aligned you. If there's been any like tired energy that you've been experiencing, even like just being tired of everything that's took to get you here, know that that energy is being washed away, and you're going to feel definitely more revived and more uplifted because you no longer have guilt being something that is weighing you down. I'm hearing to density. Instead, you're experiencing the freedom and your fluidity, okay? And I'm hearing your fluid nature. That's what I'm seeing, okay? So I'm gonna love and leave you guys right there. Maybe I'll get one tarot message for you. Let's do that. Let's get one tarot message. In our Cosmos Visions deck. Ten of Pentacles, legacy. Legacy in motion. Oh my gosh. That's the song I was singing. Hold on, let me get the lyrics up for this. There's a part in the song where she says, I am the prophecy, everything I build in my life is what will forever be. And I'm just seeing that for you with legacy in motion, right? And legacy is not just about the things that you create in this lifetime, but it's also about the people that you touch. I'm hearing with your creations. So let me go ahead and read the Ten of Pentacles for you, right? Ten of Pentacles is literally a why. You have the Ace of Lotuses at the base, which is about maybe a new career, financial opportunity, but I'm seeing this as a creative opportunity of some kind, or just a new emotionally fulfilling beginning for you. This is success on a soul level, okay? Not just in the material plane with the Ten of Pentacles, but also on a soul level, right? This is overflow and plenty. And she says that in the song. She says something around like the forever flowing ocean. Let me read this for you. What are we looking for? This book. Okay, let me find legacy. Legacy in motion. That's what I'm seeing for you. It's like your legacy is already in motion. You could already be touching people's lives. Okay, all right. Fulfillment, dreams coming true. The full moon beams in the night sky, illuminating the tree that has overtaken the jeweled tower. Complete confusion between the rapidly growing trees and the tower has created this hybrid of beauty. The jeweled tower supporting the colossal tree, and the tree offering shade from the harshness of the day. While we find ourselves back in the desert, we now have the foundation and determination to overcome adversity, knowing that hardships that can be made easier by working together. Through the suit of the trees, we witness mankind working to coexist with nature. The Jeweled Tower is a card that speaks to the fulfillment of dreams. When it shows up, it's a sign that this is true joy, and it's sitting there ready for you to grab it. This can be a greater feeling than any material possessions could bring you. This is a time to rejoice and enjoy the simplicity of feeling fulfilled. And I'm seeing this, right? You are not one but all. And that's what's so interesting, because I don't know if you have seen the like tarot archetype readings that I've done, but this is literally it. Like, you're a multidimensional being, and that's why I say you're not just embodying this archetype, but you shift into that octave. You are not one, but you are all. Okay, there's something around that for this. The importance of being. That is so spot on. A personality's character, flaw, and skills. Yeah. Let me read this. I've never actually read this page and it could be significant. The 16 identities speak to ourselves. You are not one of these identities, but all. Some of us have more of these identities active at a single time, and others exhibit only a few. Yours may change depending on the situation, time, or place. When you see one come up in a reading, it's a strong indicator of your personality and the current situation. When you see it, may suggest that you have different feelings about a situation, or it may allude to a harmonious balance. The 16 beings create the bridge between the four suits. These are the court cards transformed. Yeah, that's so on point. Okay, that's so on point. There's something around an octave in which you're seated in, right? Because when we have the devil card, you've fallen asleep within this construct into density, and then when you shift into a higher octave, maybe like I'm seeing like high priestess mode activated, right, where she actually begins to look at this life through the lens of the soul and the higher self in physical form. You know how to align yourself in the physical, and I'm seeing that there's like I'm hearing a weight of responsibility, but it no longer holds weight unless you decide that. I'm hearing it actually becomes something that has strengthened you enough to become your form of liberation, okay? I'm hearing there's a revelation that your responsibility is actually how you liberate yourself in this existence by finally honoring it. Okay, that's what I'm seeing it. Oh, it's the moment that you're no longer holding the responsibility, but the responsibility holds you. I'm just seeing that. There's something around it holds you up now. It uplifts you instead of weighs you down. And it's because you've channeled those emotions of confusion into clarity. And when something becomes clear, it's no longer murky. When something becomes clear, there's no longer that weight or cloud of confusion that you're immersed in, but instead your intention becomes your anchor. It's like your mission becomes something that anchors you into through every step that you take. And it really doesn't matter about anyone's presence or absence. You're rooted and anchored into the bedrock, okay, into the core of this earth, into the core of your being, that you become unshakable, unmovable, and unstoppable. So I'm gonna love and leave you right there. Okay, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, if you consider subscribing, so we'd love to have you around. I just had to give you a round of applause. But yeah. Yeah, what else? Check out Ultra Spirit if you're looking for some high quality AAA grade jewelry, small family owned business that handcraft these beautiful gemstones. One of the proceeds are donated towards auto sanctuaries. Got 2 discount codes down in the description box. I hope to see you guys very, very soon. Until next time, bye. Keep being your beautiful self and keep doing what it is that you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing it very well. Bye.